Mr. Rogen, it's good to see you, sir. Congratulations on this one.
Thank you. I'm glad. Is this going to air like in a ridiculousness segment on MTV?
Yeah, you know how I
Tell
roll.
West Coast going to throw to this interview.
Exactly. Over to you, Rob. Yeah, what sort of wacky thing are you up to?
I think I have to vomit all over myself, or this chair has to break, or something. Yeah.
Please do. That's how most of my interviews end, anyway.
You're talentless, spineless.
What is wrong with you? No one likes you.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm here to save your career. Help me help you win.
You'll make a great studio head.
Congratulations on the studio. You know I adore this show. I'm just going to say it. This is the best show on TV.
Oh, that's so nice.
Severance Schmeverance. This is the studio. You play a studio boss in this. Give me a sense of accuracy, okay? From like the scale of full-on documentary to a Minions movie. Where does this fall in terms of accuracy, Seth?
You know, it's pretty accurate to certain people at a certain time. And I don't know if there's any one studio that functions like this all the time, or if there's any one person that is constantly making as poor decisions as my character is making. But I think in general, it's pretty much all based on stuff we've actually seen with our own eyes, and actual conversations we've had with people, in actual rooms we've been in, and actual arguments we've engaged in, and actual conflicts we've had, and is very much based on the actual like personalities of the people, of both ourselves and the people we've interacted with throughout the last 25 years, you know?
They always say, write what you know. So judging from, from Superbad to this, about teenagers trying to get free beer and studio politics. These are your two areas of expertise.
I did not assume that's where my life would lead necessarily at the time, but it is. I spend a lot of time working on movies and TV shows and stuff. And so, yeah, like studio politics has actually become a center point of my life in many ways.
There's a lot of stuff to love in this show. Look, the ensemble's amazing. You've got, Catherine O'Hara, Catherine Hahn, basically every good Catherine that's working in Hollywood.
All the good Catherines, the best ones.
Bryan Cranston, and an insane amount of cameos from Charlize Theron to Zac Efron. The list goes on and on. Here's what I want to know. Who didn't you get? Tell me about the awkward texts that were never returned.
There were some that were returned and then went dead altogether. It's not, I don't want to call anyone. I still hope to get these people, so I don't want to alienate them. But there was a few, there was a few people who, maybe read a draft and were insulted, or just didn't seem to jive with what we were doing. Or some people actually were just like, I'm afraid this will alienate studio executives in a very specific way that I don't necessarily want for my career. And so, we got some no's. But if anything, I'm amazed at who said yes. Like the yeses far outweighed the no's.
Well, and now you have proof of concept. So when Tom Cruise looks at the 6 texts that are waiting for him to respond to, he can see that it turned out pretty well.
Exactly. You won't leave me on red like that, Cruise.
He needs to turn off that notification.
I know he shouldn't do
that. He
that.
can read it.
Yeah, I can also see he's about to send a text and then he chooses not to. He's typing for a long time. Nothing.
So talking about the ones you got, who were you shocked by? I mean, is there anybody that when you actually got the green light that you even said, really? They're actually going to show up on set and do this?
For sure, Martin Scorsese. And we were like, and a lot of people, but he's the one that like really surprised. Still, me and Evan were at like a screening last night, and we were watching it like with the audience, and we were just like, turned to each other like, I can't believe that he's in this show. I can't believe he said yes to this. It's so nice, I said to him after we finished filming, like, I was like, I feel like you gave me an amazing gift that I in no way deserved from you. And I was just very appreciative of it.
The series also continues, I feel like, a through line throughout your career. No matter what, kind of a project it is, I feel like the drinking game is somebody trips out on drugs at some point.
We had to get there eventually. I don't Hollywood without it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's no real question there. It's just an observation or something.
Yes, exactly.
Your next therapy session.
It was, but yes, me and Evan as we were writing the finale, we were just like, I guess we all knew it would end up here.
So give me a sense, so is the pinch me moment on set? Is it directing Scorsese? It has to be. I mean, I love how I don't want to ruin anything, but there's stuff that Dave Franco, we know what he's capable of. Zoe Kravitz, I did not know what she was capable of.
Yeah.
Folks are really going for it in this series.
Yeah, Scorsese was amazing, and he's also such a good actor that like you couldn't cast an actor to like play that role better. Like that's what is like if the show took place in a fictional world and he was named like Jim, Jim whatever, like, and he was a fake director, like he's still the best actor to play that role. Like he was really amazing. I also think like as we were filming the Golden Globes episode, I was constantly in shock at who we were able to wrangle and just the sheer volume of them. And like any one given day on set, I'd just be like, oh, like there's, Aaron Sorkin and Zack Snyder and Gene Smart and Quinta Brunson having a conversation at the craft service table.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like, I wonder what they're talking about. But there was a lot of moments like that that were very surreal during that episode too, because we shot it. It really felt like like I was at the Golden Globes a couple months ago, and a lot of people in the episode were there. People kept coming up to me, being like, "This is so weird." It's exactly like the episode. Yeah.
Speaking of showing up at award shows, I feel like whenever I see you, it's particularly like at an MTV show, I feel like we have this moment where we're like, I can't believe we're both here.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're both still somehow
Still
relevant
around.
in our own
Yeah,
ways.
we hung out.
I mean this in the nicest possible way. Are you shocked that you're kind of so still relevant? You were so like your career was so based on like your youth and coming of age, starting out, and you still remain so vital to like this generation and the next generation.
I mean, it's it's very validating that our taste still in any way aligns with like what is popular and with things like The Boys and stuff like that were like purely born out of just like things me and Evan liked and were fans of. The fact that we were able to make them and that they connected with like such a huge amount of people is Invincible, stuff like that. Like it's really cool. And again, it makes you, it's nice to feel like maybe you're not completely out of touch. And I think with this show, it's very nice to feel that we're still able to actually do good work as well. And that as we get older, we aren't getting, much worse at this, but we are maybe evolving into doing a version of it that's more suitable for people our age.
And what it also reminded me was like how desperate I am to laugh.
Yes, exactly. We need that desperation.
Yeah, and this really does. On the flip side, when do you feel most old? When do you feel most aged? Like when you see someone like Maude Apatow on Euphoria, are you like, oh my God, what happened to time?
Yes, I ran into Maude and Iris at the Vanity Fair Oscar party, which in and of itself is a funny thing to say. But it was very surreal and I felt very old. Yeah. And Iris came up to me. She's like, I haven't seen you in so long. I was like, yeah, it's been a long time. Like, they were babies when literally, like, I think Maude was born while we were making Freaks and Geeks. And so, same with Adam Sandler's daughters. One of them was born while we were making Funny People, and I ran into them at something recently, and it's things like that. It's like the people I'm working with, kids who were born during certain movies we were making, and then I see those kids now and they're fully adults basically. That makes me feel very old. Yeah. Whenever I'm working on Gen V and talking to those young kids who work on that show, I feel incredibly old. Ninja Turtles makes me feel old. When I'm around those 4 kids, I don't know what the they're talking about. I literally haven't like Googled the words they're saying, like after they're saying them.
Yeah, I basically mark my age by like Elle Fanning's height at this point. Like
Yeah,
I knew her when
exactly.
she was like this, and now she's 7 feet tall.
No, it's weird.
To this day, are there any of the early films that you're quoted that you're surprised has staying power?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised any of them have staying power. Honestly, it's like a lovely. I'm amazed at how often I see young young people in like McLovin T-shirts. I'm amazed at how that has become like an Urban Outfitters staple among or a Hot Topic wherever they're getting these shirts. I'm amazed at how that has kind of like worked its way into the like culture of current day teenagers. That is surprising to me.
Can we talk a little bit about the MTV Seth Rogen connection? Because you're inextricably linked with MTV for many years. I was looking back, even just a few years ago, you wrote a few social media posts about your love of The Hills when it came back a few years back.
Oh yeah, love the Hills.
Can you tell me what, in a nutshell, you love to this day about what was captured on The Hills?
That really was, we started with Laguna Beach. I remember me and Jay Baruchel being like unemployed, sitting in my disgusting apartment and like flipping through channels and landing on MTV like the first episode of Laguna Beach was airing, literally, and we were like, "What is this show? Like, it looks amazing. Like, why does it look so good?" And we became hooked. And then I followed those people to the hills and to the city and to
Oh, you're for real. He's real. He's a real
to
one.
wherever
Yeah.
their adventures took them. But I love reality television. I think because I don't watch sports. I think it's nice to like watch a thing that has nothing to do with what you do for a living, you know? And so reality TV feels like that. Like
Yeah.
it's entertainment and it in no way reminds me of my job, you know?
Right. Well, and there was also that uncanny thing about The Hills. You referenced this, like it was shot like it was like a Terrence Malick movie.
Yeah, it was
gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah, they had real coverage and they had lighting and it was really incredible. And I know someone now who lives in the house from the hills, and it's a real treat every time I go in there. I'm like, this is Audrina's guest house. I'm in it, standing in it.
All right, I'm going to show you some photos from some MTV exploits. You tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Do you remember this? Can you see this?
Yeah, that's us presenting an award with, is that me and Will and Jack dressed as the Beastie Boys?
That's your Beastie Boys moment. That's 2011 VMAs. Did you feel a special thing channeling the Beastie Boys for that?
It was amazing we shot it. We were in a Beastie Boys video, and it was one of the best few days of my entire life. It was a dream come true. Speaking of feeling old, what I also remember about that is I think we presented with Odd Future, or maybe they won the award, but I remember meeting them that night. And again, they were literal children. And I remember one of them, I think Tyler, going up to Will Ferrell and going, "Dude, you look old as fuck." And again, that was one of those moments where even that was 2011, I still felt old. But yeah, that Beast Boys video was a real treat.
A few more for you. You, of course, Danny, Zach.
Oh yeah, we did a chastity belt joke. The thing with the MTV Awards, it's hard to break through the clutter. Like it's hard to get a laugh from those things, and no one's paying attention. And so early on, I was like, "Oh, you got to go with like a spectacle-based bit, basically. Like it can't be subtle. It can't be two people talking and exchanging quippy dialogue. You have to put Dan McBride in a metal chastity belt."
Sometimes you need to take off your pants.
Yes.
And, yeah. Or you need to wear like a full-on strongman suit next to Salt and Pepper.
Yes, I remember presenting once in a strongman outfit. That was a joke I did one year, and that was a funny thing because I like put it on like pretty early backstage, and then I remember meeting all these people that I was I met Kendrick Lamar that night. I remember, and I was in this like ridiculous strongman outfit. I'm like, "Very nice to meet you. This is for a bit. I'm participating in a silly bit. That's why I look so stupid right now." But so yeah, there's a lot of that.
And finally, speaking of modifying your body, they say this is a Vin Diesel tattoo. It really reads more like Putin to me nowadays.
Yeah. Hey, you take it up with Vin Diesel. Yeah, again, breaking through the clutter, trying
Yeah.
out bits.
Did Vin ever appreciate that? Did he ever that a friendship was born from that?
No, I've never really actually exchanged more than a few words with Vin Diesel. But if you ask me who is one of my dream people, if we got a second season, Vin Diesel. For sure. Like he's top of the pyramid of who I'm looking for. Yeah.
All right, there's a tease for season 2. Again, congratulations, man. This is a special one. The studio, check it out for all the great Catherines, for Seth Rogen, for all the cameos and more. It's always good to catch up, man. Thank you.
Great to see you. Hang in there.
Thanks, man. You too.
Back to you, Rob.
And back to ridiculousness, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, see you, buddy.